and learn with the
Yep.
almighty, all knowing, all powerful CEO, Harshit.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hey, can you all see us? Drop a comment if you can hear us talking.
Yeah, let's give
Also,
people a few minutes to join here, um, and we'll just hang out and chit chat like normal. But we're super excited to have you all here, everyone who's joining in. There's lots of very exciting things coming our way. So we have some big announcements. We have a lot of fun stories to tell you, and we're really excited to really get some stuff going. I see we have six
yeah,
people, so it's starting to tick in. Let's give them a few minutes. And
perfect. In the meantime, if everyone tell us where they're joining from, I know this is the cliched question that everyone asks, but I'll ask that question as well. So, hey, we have a message from. Oh, it shows me the name as Facebook user, but hey, hi. But no, I mean, if everyone tell us that where you're joining from,
yeah, we'd love to hear. I'm actually floating in today from Barcelona. We're here in Barcelona,
wow,
attending Boda F, which is a conference here in Spain. So we have Holly from Michigan. Hello, Holly.
hey Holly, hi. And I'm from New Delhi, India. It's 11:30 p.m. for me. So I look fresh as ever.
Yeah, you look like you didn't just work all day and show up here. Hello from Norway. Wow, that's awesome. I actually had a nice layover in Iceland, and that was extremely cool. So
we
maybe
have,
Norway's next.
we have Martin. Hey, Martin, uh, on a
Hello,
train.
Alan. Alan from Illinois as well. Hi, Martin from the UK. On a train. He is devoted right there, tuning in
Very
on a train. We have Gail from Massachusetts. Gail, I'm from Connecticut, so we're neighbors. We have another Michigan here. Abby, we know Abby from Philly.
awesome, awesome. So, Justin, what's the occasion?
Well, all right. There's a lot of occasions here. But one of the really important occasions is celebrating Aftershoot. So if you look in our upper right hand corner, or yeah, I guess it would be your upper right hand corner on your screen, you can see a lovely new logo.
Oh,
So part of our celebration has been totally rebranding and coming up with a nice, beautiful new logo. Um, and with that, alongside website and there's a new magical unicorn logo floating around. So we've done a lot of revamping and changing recently to accommodate the new brand, which also means that there is a new product.
love that. So, I mean, do the colors say anything? Is that a slight nudge toward what's? I mean, although I believe a lot of people on the chat who are watching us, they already know about what's coming. But you want to talk a little more about the logo and what that represents in terms of the colors and the design that we went ahead with. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to, before I even say that, I want to acknowledge our old logo, rest in peace, um, because it was so complicated that nobody knew what it was. So I want to turn the wheels back on you. I want you to explain what the A actually was before.
Do you have that? Like, do you have that logo somewhere? Could you pull that up on the screen?
Let me see. I don't. I think I may have gotten rid of it. I was just. It had to go. It was well thought out. Listen, it was the best thought out logo, but nobody knew what it actually was.
If any of you remember what the
Oh, I
old
have it.
logo used to look like. Oh, you got it, Justin?
Yeah. All right. Let me share my screen.
Perfect. Okay, let's pull it up on the screen and let's talk a little about the logo. So okay, this marvelous piece. This, if I ask people that, hey, what do you see in this logo? They say that, hey, this is an A, but it's not an A. So it's a shape that you make when you're clicking a picture. So I mean, if you take your left hand and try to take a picture, just do that gesture, you get that logo of Aftershoot. So it's that's what it is. And shout out to our designer. We had an intern designer way back in 2020 who did this, Shreya. So yeah, shout out to her. We spent like I believe 3 months to just to get to this logo. We went to like 50 different variations of logos, and finally stumbled across this. So
and
yeah, shout out
and,
to the
and
logo.
I just wanted to acknowledge it because like I said, it's never coming back, but I want everyone to know that it was actually really, it was a decent logo. It was just nobody knew that it was a decent logo. So
And I
our new
think
logo is super
yeah,
amazing though. So
yeah. The reason we rebranded was because we wanted to add more colors to the brand. Because again, we are a colorful company. We are solving a problem for people like creatives who deal with colors day in day out. So we wanted to also add that uh, to our logo and the brand. And we're finding it hard to do with the old logo. So now we have the new logo, new website. If you haven't checked out the website in the past few months, do look at it. We have a new website. It's a brand new website. We have a brand new like user flow, and we also have a brand new UI of the app.
yeah, I wanted to say never would have thought of that. Yeah, that's why I wanted to just
Yeah.
acknowledge that the old logo is cool, but the new logo represents so much more, right? So we've totally revamped and made something that's really cool, but also really representative of our brand, right? Of our company, of who we are. We're not the type of people who are kind of snooty, and we're the photographers. We are the people. If you've reached out to Intercom at all in the history of using Aftershoot, there's a pretty high chance that you spoke to one of us at one point in time. Probably more Harshit because he actually troubleshoots. I just answer questions as best I can. But you've probably spoken to one of us because we really are, a bright, exciting brand. And the unicorn represented that. The solid blue A before did not represent that. And so now we have a nice gradient, right? We have colors of culling down to editing. So we're really excited. It's cool to just have this whole thing take place and unfold now finally.
And we have branded this as the anniversary lunch and learn is because today, 3 years ago, is when we launched the first early alpha version of Aftershoot. And yeah, so it was 3 years ago, uh, right around when the pandemic hit, when we launched the first version. And a bunch of you might not have seen that version at all. It was just like a small window. It's like just you drag and drop images. There was no review option,
Last
no
time I opened
nothing.
it on my computer, it crashed. So I couldn't. I wanted to bring it up and show it today, but the computer crashed last time. But yeah, it was from a user perspective. You would just drag and drop some photos in. We didn't have stars, we didn't have colors. It was just keywords at that point too, right? So it would just go through, keyword these things off and say, hey, this is blur, this is closed eyes. It was a version, that's for sure.
Yeah, and to be honest, Justin was one of the people I shared that version with. So I sent it to like 10 people. And I think Justin tells this story better than me, but I sent it to 10 people. I got like one positive reply that, hey, this thing might work. And it was a might. That was Justin.
No. It wasn't a might.
Okay.
It was definitely, so I ran the version one, and it was absolutely terrible. I think I was the only person that had any hope that it could work. But I wrote the longest email. I'm surprised that I was allowed to even send it. It was so long, about all the things that we needed to do to try and make this actually functioning. So it was really cool to see that version, right? For me, because I had an open mind. I'm sure, like many of you, culling is the last thing in the world I ever wanted to do. So the fact that there was even a glimmer of hope at that point was exciting for me. So I was really, really ready to to dive in and make it happen. So yeah, I wrote the longest email ever, sent it off, and then that's when work began on version 2.0.
Yeah. And now we are so close to unveiling version 3.0 that has editing, culling, and yeah, more things coming down the line. Hey,
So
we
Gail had a really good question. Sorry, I just want to pop in because I know many of you are watching in hopes of getting some really cool stuff out of this lunch and learn. There is some announcements at the end, so you're gonna have to hang on or watch the whole thing to get there. But we'll have some announcements about what's coming and what you should need to know coming up soon. So
all right.
yeah, new
Justin,
logo. Tell
yeah.
what that's like. that's just a drop in the bucket. We did a whole rebrand, right? So everything totally changed when you look at the website, um, social media, everything. It's all new. It's all everywhere. Um, I'm gonna flip this on you. What's next? What should they expect to see different in the app?
Oh,
What's changing there?
in the app. So we're working on a couple of fronts to make the whole process faster and easier. Because one of the complaints that we heard from people who are using Aftershoot is that, hey, like, uh, it runs slowly. I mean, and again, if you, like, as you know, that Aftershoot, all the magical unicorns that run, they run on your machine. That's why we don't need an access to internet connection. We don't need to charge you per image. It all happens locally on your machine. The more powerful your machine is, the faster you'll see the culling happening, the faster you'll see the editing happening. So one of the questions was that, hey, I want to like work on Lightroom and while I'm culling in Aftershoot. So how like is that something that we can do? And while you can do that, but the culling will become a little slower, right? The results won't be impacted. It'll just take a little longer. So that's something that we are working on right now. We just shifted the architecture of the app completely. It's something that we've been working on for the past few months, and that's why we didn't have a lot of feature updates for culling because we're working on exactly this. And the new version that's coming out, hopefully in the next month, will have almost twice as fast culling. So if it used to take 1 hour to cull, say, 8,000 images, it'll take 30 minutes now. And while doing that, you will be able to work on other apps. So that's the most important thing. Right? It's becoming more efficient, more faster, less resource intensive. Second, it's going to be much more accurate. We've been hard at work, especially the machine learning team. Kudos and shout out to them. They've been hard at work on improving the selection algorithm to account for more factors that we did not account for before. And so with the new selection algorithm, you should expect to see at least a 10 to 15% bump in accuracy. So now, like earlier, if you were like just changing the stars and colors on 15 images out of 100, now it should be 1 out of 100. So that's the other thing. Lastly, we are obviously working on making the whole review process simpler, like making it more simple for you to use the app. So one thing that we are doing is, so once before you start a cull, you have a screen wherein it lets you choose the preferences. Okay, what does the blur setting, what does the duplicate setting look like? And the feedback that we got was that, hey, okay, I don't understand what this means. And actually I felt this because I had to like tell one of our new users as to what those settings mean, and I was on a call with them for 1 hour trying to explain what those settings mean. So now moving ahead, you'll have a single slider which will dictate how many or how few images you get after a cull. So that's the third thing, again, making it more simple for you to use the product. We are also launching culling in, wherein, okay, rather than going through Aftershoot's selection and removing the images that you don't want, you will be able to flag and mark images that you do want from the AI selections. So that's something that we're also bringing. And obviously, we have the elephant in the room, that is edits. Uh, and we do have a very special announcement for people who are watching this stream. So be sure that you stick around to the end with our announcements on edits. So yeah, it will be recorded. Yes. Oh, snap, snap indeed.
um,
So
well, thank you for that amazing explanation. That's actually not the question I was asking at all. So I would, that was fantastic. Thanks for giving everyone the glimpse into it. But yeah, so I was kind of saying, what can we expect in the app as far as the rebrand?
okay, my bad. So it's the
That's
same old
okay.
unicorns.
Listen, if you just all caught a sneak peek of what's coming over the next few weeks, few months, whatever it may be. So I'm glad I facilitated that.
Within the app, not a lot of changes. We don't want to take away what's already familiar for you in the app. So all the changes we make will be incremental changes. So the first thing that you can expect to see over the next few weeks is the app will have a slightly different color palette. So everything else will remain exactly the same. It just the colors will update, and that doesn't mean the app will now will be a gradient of colors across screens.
So
No, just just slight updates on colors.
you're you're underselling how beautiful the new version
Listen,
looks. So
under promise and over deliver.
that's true. I just want to say the new beautiful reskin of the app. So we have a brand
Do
new
you want
one.
to share that, Justin? Do you
I
have
don't
that handy?
know. I want it to be a total surprise. I want people to wake up, open it up, and
Okay.
go, "Holy cow, that's beautiful!" So as a photographer, the colors of it, the contrast, everything, so much nicer. That's all I want to say. I want you to just open it up and go, "Wow, I," because that was my first, like, I saw all the designs and I was like, "Okay, this is fine." But then my first time using, when we were testing it out and everything, I opened it up and I said, "This is so perfect."
It feels like a smarter app. So
Yep.
when you use it, you'll feel that hey, like this is a smarter, carefully designed application, and we just didn't do things for the sake of doing it. So that's what you'll feel. I can guarantee that.
All right, I'm
So
going to show one question really quick because he wants to know, he or she wants to know, is edits ready for Capture One?
yeah,
Um,
so I'll take this time to publicly shill the Capture One team. And if you're hearing me talking and listening to this live, guys, come on. For full transparency, we are working on Capture One support, and we literally have to. I mean, so every time we do something and we go to the team saying that, hey guys, we did this, but we are stuck over here. Can you help us out? Instead of helping us out, they just change the entire structure. So if like just do everything over again, it's like what? So I
and,
mean, right now, so all the things are done. It's like, so imagine this. So you're trying to make coffee. You have the sugar if you like it, you have the milk, all you are missing is the coffee beans. And you have imported the coffee beans. So now they're stuck in customs. So Capture One is our customs. So we have done everything. The only missing piece that we need is at the mercy of the Capture One team. So if you want support for Capture One, please tweet at them, write to them, email them, send them a link to this webinar. I'm just kidding, don't do that. Yeah. Tell them that, hey guys, what are you doing? Help Aftershoot get supported and integrated with Capture One because we want to support them. They have a fantastic product. We have a lot of users who use Capture One, and we were supportive of Capture One since day one for our culling product. So the Aftershoot culling product, it supported Capture One since day one. So we don't have any like any like
and if they just so happen to be listening, the only reason I don't use Capture One is because Aftershoot doesn't work with it. So I, I
I,
canceled I canceled my subscription because I couldn't use it. So
yeah, I saw some people tweeting at them. I saw some people tweeting at them on Twitter that, hey guys, like when you will support Aftershoot, and this it's crickets over there. So yeah, if you like this, if you want to help us support Capture One, please share this with Capture One team and have them work on this because again, honestly, we need help from their side.
all right, I'm gonna star some of these ones that we have to come back to and talk about, but I want to keep moving because otherwise we could be here all day hanging out because we love you guys. But I want to make sure that we tackle some of the things that we wanted to set forth. So the first thing that we need to talk about, because there's a lot of new users here, how did it all start?
Oh, Justin, do you want like tell them about how we met, how we started? Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite story of all time, because I've heard it so many times in my life, is Harshit's origin story to Aftershoot. So he has family that were photographers, and he saw the problem. And being the genius that he is, he saw the problem and the need to find a way for technology to help people cull. So his family of photographers inspired him to do this, and so he began the process. And so in part of that, um, he was reaching out. The hustle was hard, right? So Harshit was, I think you had direct messages over like 200
Yeah.
people, uh,
Emails,
or
personalized emails. Yeah.
emails, everything, just trying to get people who would talk to him about what culling meant for them. Someone posted in a Facebook group that there was a person looking to talk about culling and how they could automate the process. And I was like, give me that information because I would pay $1 million a year never to have to cull again. So I ended up DMing Harshit on Instagram. I don't have the message with me here in Barcelona, but I did. He printed it out as a gift to me. It's one of my cherished items. The DM I originally sent to him, which was, I would love to talk about it. I probably don't have time to talk about it, but I'd love to talk about it. And so we had a couple Zoom calls, super awkward. We watched one of them together recently, and it was like, who are those two weird people talking to each other? But we had some Zoom calls, and I discussed my process and how it all worked. And he did it with a bunch of other photographers, and just kind of, getting back to it. And then he went and built an app, right? So he just took all the information he gathered and put something together to prove that it was possible. So I think we had spoke in like October, and then around February, you came back with the first version.
It would have been ready sooner if you had replied to my messages. Can I tell that part of the story?
I was busy culling. What do you want?
But he stayed true to his words. He said that I probably won't have enough time, and then he ghosted me for 3 weeks.
I did ghost you for 3 weeks. I'm sorry. But I got back to you eventually. We connected. But yeah, so then he produced that lovely app. It was originally like, I think out of the 200 people, some 50 people replied to you for video calls, right? I think that was like roughly the statistics.
Actually, I sent more emails. I sent like close to like 500-600 emails over the
so
course of a month. It was all personal because those have to be personalized emails. I mean, you have to like go to the Facebook page, go to the about section, learn a bit about the photographers, and then message them, because you don't want like just send random emails. So they had to be personalized. So like close to like 700 emails I sent over the course of 30 days. And of those 700 emails, like I got 200 replies, out of which like only 50 people are willing to jump on a call with me and tell me more about the whole process. So yeah.
So yeah, I have to share that because that was the grind. I will say this as one of your closest friends, you are by far the hardest working, most devoted individual to this entire thing, right? So from day one, when I still hear on occasion of like some random photographer that you were chasing from 3 years ago, right? Like I'll just like meet them and they'll be like, oh yeah, I think that guy emailed me once, like way back. And I'm like, how the hell did he find you? Like, how did this even happen?
Yeah, no, I still remember, like, so I'm like, it's like funny story, but so what happened was, so I wrote to some people asking that, hey, can you like help me? So this is like way back in 2019, and like sent them an email, sent a follow-up email, no reply, crickets. And once we launched the priced version, I got a reply saying that, hey, loved helping you build Aftershoot. Can I get a discount? I was like, what?
Yeah, thanks for all that help. Yeah, so we had the 600 emails, 700 emails, lots of grinding there, and then so you did eventually have 50 calls, and
all of them are still recorded on Zoom. Like for people who let me record it, so I still have like a bunch of those recorded calls. Probably we'll do a teaser someday, like
of all the people who inspired us. But yeah, so then of those 50, you sent all 50 that original version.
It's not everyone tried it. Only like so at every step you had at least like 50%, 60% people drop off. Out of those 50, I believe only 20 people tried it and 10 people got back to me, out of which like 7 said that this will never work. And 3 said that, hey, this might work. And like you were one of those 3 people, sir. Yeah.
So it's the numbers game. So all right, this leads me to my next question. What's the first feedback? I can't tell you mine because it would take us 3 hours to read it. What was the first feedback from everybody?
So I'll love to like shout out some people, right? So one of them was Peter. So Peter was one of the oldest people I was in touch with, and he actually, the funny thing with Peter is he actually sent me like a 2 TB hard disk of all his images over to me. And yeah, it's like, okay, dude, you just like use all these images, I would love to help you. And he didn't even like charge me for shipping or anything. I was like, oh dude, that's so nice of you. And yeah, actually, give me a second. I want like I'm forgetting, blanking out on his last name. I'm like Peter Maha. So yeah, he was one of the like first people who spoke nice things about Aftershoot, and we still chat. He's running along with his photography business, he's running a gecko farm right now. So Justin, you might love to chat
I
with him.
love geckos, so
Yeah.
put me in touch.
So he was one of the first people. Sam heard. He was again one of the early supporters. Sam reached out to me because of my post on Reddit, and he's been like he messaged me, said that, hey, like I would love to share this with a small group of people I have in my network. It's like, yeah, sure, dude, why not? I mean, that's fine. And the next day I wake up to like 50 people using Aftershoot. Like, what? How did I get like 50 more people? And turns out that okay, I didn't know Sam, who was this guy who had like such a big following on Instagram and other places, and he made a reel on it, telling people about like Aftershoot, and it still had that old logo with the like, so the first logo. It was like ANS. It's just like if you take
Oh,
Lightroom, just
yeah.
like replace L with A and R with S. That was the first logo. I mean, I'm glad we don't have that logo right now because I know people would sue the hell out of us. But yeah, so Sam was another people who spoke highly of us, and then it was you, the third musketeer. I think I got your feedback first because I was in touch with you the longest.
Yeah.
So we were like in touch since like August. So it was all three of these feedbacks were positive. It
Yeah.
was like all positive, good feedback
What
about
about
how they liked it.
what about the other seven?
Yeah, it's like
What was the feedback? Give
because
up?
that's no work. So it'll never work. It won't work. Quit trying. This is horrible. This is terrible. It's like okay, all right.
That's
And I
awesome.
think that's the important part. You look at. I mean, it's very easy to get demotivated. So even if you have like nine people who say that hey, this is amazing, even if you get that one person who says that hey, this sucks, you get demotivated. Whereas if you have nine people who say it sucks and one person who says it'll work, you don't get as motivated. So it's very important to realize that, hey, okay, listen, like, put things into perspective. And seven people say that it doesn't work. It was a first attempt, like first attempt. So there's a saying that if you're not ashamed of the first iteration of your product, you've launched it too late. So it's a first iteration, so it's fine. It has to be bad. That's all right. But even if you have like a few people who are believers and are willing to help you build it, that's good. So just you're onto something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you gave up on Aftershoot, I would have flown to India and forced you to continue because there was no way it was. I like even the little bit of help it gave at the beginning. It needed a lot of work, but even that little glimmer was enough for me to say I could really do what I do. I think we're all here because we're all photographers, right? And this process all started because as photographers, we get into photography because we love to take pictures of things we like, right? I don't know very many photographers who picked up a camera and said, I'm going to just make this a business. They say, hey, I'm going to take pictures. I like taking pictures. I'm having fun with this. And then they say, oh, you know what? I can make this a business. But along the lines, what happens is a lot of us end up getting busy and we don't have time to cull or edit or do our own things, right? And we don't have time to go take pictures of the stuff we love. We end up so focused on delivering client material, we haven't taken pictures of the things that we want to take pictures of. Which is one of the really amazing things about this is that it does really put it back in your hands, right? You do save enough time that you can say, I want to just go take pictures of something that inspires me. I want to just go do a personal project, which is something that you could never really do if you're always just trying to make a deadline and deliver the next client's gallery on time. So it's very cool that we can kind of bring it back to that and let photographers take it back over, right? Do what
And
you
I
love.
believe you did that. Like you exactly did what you just said, right? I believe when I was there at your place, we were like shooting. I mean, actually shooting like wild animals. And plus last week you did that whole like NASCAR shoot,
Yep.
right? And like also like editing and culling onto it. So I mean, again, like it lets you be more free, be more creative. Because if you're already like if you're always mentally booked thinking about hey culling editing delivering new shoots culling editing delivering new shoots, you don't have the mind space to think about new things. And not everyone has the luxury to like hire a 10 people team to do everything for them. So you need to have that mind space to be more creative on how to grow your business, get more clients, and so on and so forth. So you cannot just keep doing the same thing over and over again if you want to grow.
I became a full-time photographer back in 2014, 2015. And the day that I became a full-time photographer was the last time I did a shoot for my own personal, like just something that I liked, taking a picture, until this past year. I finally, like you said, I went to a NASCAR race on a couple weeks ago, and I was taking photos. I took like 800 photos, and then I ran it through the culling, I ran it through the editing, I let it do its thing, and then I just was like, all right, cool, I'm done, right? Like I just took these photos and I went and posted them on Twitter and tagged all the race teams, and they started liking it and commenting, and it was something that I did that. It was a Sunday race, and I had them posted on Twitter that night, and it was just like I could never ever have imagined doing that manually, and I could never ever have imagined just doing that with having right. I mean, you shoot a wedding, you have to deliver it.
And I wanna add, yeah, I wanna add one more thing over here. Like, so because some people, we've heard this, Justin, you have heard this, I've heard this. A lot of people on this chat live stream have heard this as well. Some people say that, hey, like, oh, you're not a true creative if you're using AI. Like, it's not. It's like you're like, where's the art? Where's the creativity? And I beg to differ, right? I mean, it's just a helper, and it's not that, hey, we are just doing this in the photography industry. I mean, as a programmer, I mean, if I like sort of go back to the roots as a programmer, so to build Aftershoot, we had to write like more than 500,000 lines of code. So we had like over 500,000 lines of code or more, if I think probably even more, that was involved in building Aftershoot. Do you think that like we wrote all of that by ourselves? No. So what you do is, so in programming, you have something that's called autocomplete. So you just like write a line, enter the tab key, and it auto completes, writes all the boilerplate code for you. And then you go in and write the core logic of what the program should do, what the AI should do. And I feel like we feel that Aftershoot is exactly the same. It's the auto complete for your business, wherein you just go in, run it through. It does the first pass. You look at its results, make some changes. Boom, there you go. It saves you a lot of mental stress. And now, if you want to make this a game that, hey, I want to prove the AI wrong, yes, you will prove the AI wrong. I mean, it's an AI. It's not a competition. It's not a
I
competition.
I have done this
Yeah.
just because I have to be finger on the pulse, right? So I have done this, but I've proven myself wrong as well. So as particularly with editing, I mean, I since editing launched, or since we've had editing, I've done like I did a I did a edit on like I did my sneak peeks for a wedding, and then I came back a couple weeks later, right? Like, just to go actually start doing the project, right? And when I went back to it, I looked at the sneak peeks that I made with no AI, and I was like, why are they so yellow and overexposed? And like, why did I do X, Y, and Z? And the AI went through because I had it edit like the similar version or whatever, and the AI went through and like nailed the white balance and nailed the like exactly how I would have done. And I was like, I must have been exhausted. I must have been so tired, and I just like threw it together. So just like you said, it's not necessarily that it is a competition. It's not you versus AI or what it is. It's how can I get to my end result in the most efficient way possible.
Exactly. And if
It's
you
just like
have the
just like
liberty
with
of
the
like, yeah, if you have the liberty of like of hiring someone, cloning them, like paying them like a lot of money to like edit and cut, like you sure do that. That's great, but not everyone has that liberty. That's why we are trying to like build a solution that is accessible, affordable, right? I mean, again, like I personally feel that like the value that Aftershoot brings is more than $10 a month. But we still want to price it as such because we want to make it an accessible solution. We want everyone to use that product.
absolutely.
So
So
yeah,
sorry, Joey. I'm gonna take your comment down. I left it up for way too long.
yeah. Joey said, like I'll tell you a funny incident with Joey. Right. So Joey, nice guy, love him. So he posted about us. He posted a story about us that, hey, I'm trying this cool software called Aftershoot. He made a video of us on Instagram. And when I like went to tell him, like ask him what the feedback was like, I found that he deleted that video and story. I was like, what? And this is like way back. Like, okay, you just posted about us and you deleted that story. What is everything okay? Is everything like fine? And then we got in chatting. He said, oh, you have like improved this, that. And like, okay, that's point taken. I'll work on that. I'll take your feedback in good spirits and I'll work on improving it. And here we have Joey. Like he's one of our biggest fans. Amazing guy. Thanks, Joey. Yeah.
And then Gail put a nice comment up. Thank you, Gail. I just showed that off a little bit. This one says Facebook user. I'm not sure why we can't see their name, but whoever wrote this, that is absolutely hysterical. So definitely, let's get some more questions going here.
Yeah, let's take questions. Yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely feel less guilty yelling at a robot than a human editor. Yes, that is also true. Our AI is not a sentient being, so you can criticize them and yell at them and tell them they did it wrong, and nothing will happen. But you do that to a human, you have to feel bad. So there is that nice touch. Because I've used editing companies in the past, right? I've hired out multiple ones, and I just felt like I was, oh, is that Esteban? Oh no, it's Ben. Oh, okay, it's Ben. All right, cool. Yeah, so I definitely, for me, that was I was paying editing companies a lot of money, and then like if I got something back and it was just a little bit off, I was mad because I said I spent all this money, right? I spent 25 cents on that image. It should be perfect. And then when I did it 100 times, it was terrible. Even like 5 cents an image, I'm still like, what is going? I paid for that specific thing. If it's not perfect, it's a waste of money, right? So definitely.
Let's take some more questions. I think we have a lot of questions on the and
Yeah,
then
they're coming in fast.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Let me scroll up. I did have one that I starred here that I wanted to show. So I have Facebook user. Good evening. Will you get culling for objects, items instead of people? I don't shoot weddings, but stock photos, and culling for that would be perhaps help others. Do you want
Yeah,
to
so
dive
we
into some
do
of
have.
the genres?
Yeah, we do. We are working on adding support for more genres. And if you need support for a genre, we'll probably get a poll going, Justin, in our Facebook group to see which genre people want to see next.
Yeah.
Because we did add a support of a lot of new genres. And product photography is something that it's very close to completion. I feel like I know that like some of our users already use Aftershoot for product photography and choosing the other option that seems to have worked well for them. But we'll probably go get a poll going in our Facebook group and see which genre of photography people want to see. And yeah,
Yeah. Do you want to touch on what the immediate ones are, right? So we have school photography coming.
I'll let you take care of that. I'm not in touch with the.
Yeah, so immediate genres like upcoming. So we have some tweaks to some of the existing ones. There was actually a question in Facebook about someone who had some misclustering going on. So there is some very inherent, really cool stuff coming for that. So there was there's some discrepancies and things that we're kind of fixing, that may be kind of bug related, but also just user, interface related and whatnot. So we have some solutions for that coming that are really like, you're going to be like, and then next up is school photography. So we're expecting that to be launching very, very soon. So all of you school photographers will have some very special treatment when you go into that genre. We've also talked a little bit about what it means when the pets are in the photos. So that's all I can really tell you about that. So that's coming as well. But yeah, we'll put a poll up and we'll see where do people really want us to push the next genre, because we have a list of like maybe 30, right? We have a huge list and we're kind of just picking them off based on who's talking to us at that time, right? So when we did a conference down in Florida called Sync, and it was all school photographers, so 400 people saying, hey, school photography, and we said, all right, that's next.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Dan Manning for moderating the comments. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate it.
Dan's amazing. Dan was with us at WPPI. So anyone who went to WPPI recently, you got to meet Dan and hear how he uses Aftershoot. So we really appreciate you, Dan. I mean, we appreciate everybody. We appreciate every single user, every single ambassador, everyone who's supported us up to this point, right? It's 3 years of feedback. It's 3 years of troubleshooting. It's 3 years of, just telling us, hey, like this is a feature that I need or whatever it may be. This is really a global product, right? It's, not only is the company global, but it's all just people who are like, rising to the surface and really, giving us feedback, right? That's the most important thing. When something's not working the way that you need it to, if we can see examples of the images and then actually go in and we can diagnose these things and figure out, there was one photographer, Heather Larkin, amazing photographer. She does fairy photography, right? And she came to us with culling and said, hey, it's just not picking the right image for some reason on this set of images. And we went in and we actually built an entirely new, like we restructured everything because we found just a flaw that for her type of shoot didn't work well. But then we built the algorithm that everybody saw a big improvement to their profiles, right? So to their culling. So, that feedback is invaluable.
Absolutely, yeah, that's true. Shutterfest, yes, we will be there at Shutterfest. We as in like Justin will be there. I won't.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you'll see all of us there. So we'll be at Shutterfest. Not Harshit, but we'll be at Shutterfest. We are booth 78. So if you're at Shutterfest, when you go to Rent a Human, you're going to find us there. And
77 or 78?
78.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So, all right. Should we do this big one?
Yeah, we have a big announcement to make as well around edits. So if you are, please.
Stay on the edge of your seat. Question: wedding photographer here regarding culling. I think the eyes and smile detector is generally pretty good as well as out of focus, but the thing that keeps getting stuck is how it doesn't know the difference between a good moment and bad. So that's a great question, and I will happily chime in on this one, but Harshit, you can definitely give some feedback on it as well. So yeah, this is one of those the trickiest parts of AI culling is that there's a personal attachment that we have as humans to certain things that AI it can't understand per se, right? So if you're getting like, the bad face out of the set, that's one thing. That's definitely something that can be improved upon. But if we're talking about, the minute difference between, one smile and the next smile being slightly more valuable, it gets very tricky because every single human's a little bit different in how they perceive this. And this is something that, AI, if humans struggle, and it's funny because we've seen this, right? So we've gotten a couple of sets where people are like, hey, it's just not choosing the right image. Here are the 3 that were there. And we look at the 3 and all 3 of us on the team as photographers chose a different image. And that we were like, wait, so we had to go back and be like, what one do you want? So it's sometimes, there's just little nuances that creatives, and that's why we have that ability to review the images in Aftershoot and switch them and change them and adapt them. If it's making glaringly wrong choices where you could be like black and white, yes, that's definitely the wrong one. Please do reach out to us, help us out, send us some images and whatnot. And we can definitely look into it and see maybe there's something that we need to tweak on our end to make it a little bit smarter or make it more intuitive to that exact thing. So Dan Manning, Dan Manning, he says, love you. We're going to love you guys too. We love you, Dan. Let's go down to this question. Will there be Aftershoot support for Apple Mac Photo? I'll let you take that, Harshit.
So we already have the capability to cull HEIC images. That is what like the iPhones and Apple Photos. I think iPhones, that's a format of images that Apple Photos generate. But if you want to say like add like Apple Photos icon into Aftershoot and have it cull that, no, we don't have that support yet. It's something that we're working on. But as it stands right now, we can cull iPhone photos without any issues.
Phil Seymour. Like I said at the beginning, there's a good chance that Harshit's helped you on Intercom. So that's cool. I think that's something to just round of applause for you because you're the CEO and you have more things going on, but you always dig out time to try and help users, which is
there's nothing without the users. If the users are not happy, then what's the point? So yeah, there's no CEO without the users using the app that you're a CEO of. So
yeah. And so I'm going to say this for everyone tuning in and everyone watching. If you're posting in the Facebook group, we do have the posting so I actually am the one who goes through and I try and decline with feedback, particularly with support issues and things. If you have a bug, the Facebook group is the slowest place to get a response. So we have 24-hour in-app support. That was one of the things as a company we decided early on was that there always needs to be someone available to try and help you troubleshoot and work through whatever you got going on. So I usually try and decline things that are more support related, just that the group's not filled with people asking, the same question, like what happens with this or what happens with that, or I have a bug or whatever it may be. So
because that clutters the group as well. Like, so if someone who's joining us, right? I mean, they don't want to go through like thousands of support queries. We have like an in-app support section wherein I think that's the best place to ask any questions. We also have a Discord group for people who are using edits. So there's a Discord group with all the developers. If you want like some quick help, so you can ask those questions over there as well.
And then William Morton. So sorry, I was prefacing that with William's question is that this, we try and like filter some stuff in, but we're an honest company and we want to hear. So when you say, hey, most of the highlights I have to downgrade, that makes us sad. But we're cool talking about our weaknesses and our strengths and whatnot, because we don't want to hide things, or we want real honest feedback and being able to improve this product. So William, that's a great question or proposal. And I think that's something that we're still tweaking on with the highlights. So we actually introduced a brand new highlights algorithm about 2 months ago. I believe it was 2 or 3 months ago. So it was brand new algorithm, but we haven't gotten a ton of feedback on it. So this is definitely something that if you ever have these sort of issues, you can always just reach out to in-app support and they can forward along the email. It's team@aftershoot.com. And you can send over examples like, hey, it's picking all of these as highlights. Can you tell me why? And we can kind of look and assess and see what's going on and get some real life statistics on it. And then we're going to post this because Esteban, I'm assuming this is Esteban again.
Esteban, yeah,
loving to throw us under the gun every time. So if you are going to Shutterfest, one of our great ambassadors, we'll have a couple ambassadors speaking. I know like Jen Stitt's there, Esteban's there, but Esteban is going to give away a bunch of subscriptions at his photo talks and walks. So join Esteban and learn some cool stuff. So he is a very, very, very cool person who has some mediocre hair on his head. And he's also going to shave it off. I think that's what Sandra said. He's shaving it off because he's here. So next up, are you guys thinking on a version for iPad Pro?
Not yet. Why don't you do one thing? Email us, tell us what you want to see in an iPad version of Aftershoot. Because I mean, we are like not able to like justify the use case with respect to the effort that goes into creating an iPad version and supporting, because it's not just about creating it. Once you create, you have to like support it as well, because we don't want to create something and then just like abandon it. So we put a lot of thoughts and efforts while building something. So we want to make sure that we justify the use case. So it'll be really helpful if you can just email us, like, so Justin@aftershoot.com, Harshit@aftershoot.com, hello@aftershoot.com, any of those emails. Just tell us that, hey, like, okay, I want to see an Aftershoot iPad version because of this reason. So yeah, I mean, love to consider it. Yeah.
This is a great question. What's the best way to decrease by 20% the number of selected by a certain criteria? So this is actually user specific, right? So there, when you're going through and actually setting your settings, you can make some adjustments to the settings, but it also really depends on how you shoot as a photographer. So my favorite way, I can actually usually get my selections down by like 40%. Pretty easily, because I'm the type of photographer who goes do. I take 3 of the same photo, and then I go to the next pose or the next scene or whatever it is. So what I do is I actually isolate all my single images, and then I just go through, reject them all, and then just scroll through and make sure there's nothing that I want to pull back in. But again, this is something that, maybe we'll do a lunch and learn on some of these tips and tricks. But there's definitely some ways that you can actually just reduce a lot of stuff based on the style that you actually photograph in. And
just so, let's make a note of making a video around this. So I think it would be a very good video that we can refer to people who want to reduce the selection. So let's make a note of this and make sure that we get some stuff out, because that's an extremely good question. Thank you, Flasheto. Wills,
yeah. We saw Abby. He was commenting and congratulating. Wow, there's a lot of questions.
Let's get through the questions. A bunch of them.
I'm going to share this one. I'm going to keep scrolling and reading ahead. So do you want to answer them as they pop up?
Yeah, Justin, I think this is a question for you, because you are
okay. All right. So thanks for the response to the question. Question 2, regarding edits, I'm wondering on, I'm working on creating profiles, but could you explain the profiles are created? It might help me better and prioritize. Okay, so let's put it this way. The number one question that, that we get is how to build a profile and how to build the best profile, right? And one of the major mistakes that a lot of photographers make when they're building their profile is they're actually giving us the best representation of their work and not the most universal representation. So it's really important when you're building your AI profile, to give it a very diverse range of photos and how you edit those photos, as opposed to saying like, here's my 10 best sets of family shoots, because usually your best sets of family shoots are in your ideal conditions. So then the AI only really learns how to handle ideal conditions. But instead, what you're looking for is the editing to actually be quite universal. You want it to work on all of your shoots. So it's really, really important to represent your work and how you would shoot naturally, just to say that. So I think definitely a great idea. Or to building a good profile is just pushing out a nice variety. Other things just to take note is that as humans, we have inherent biases. So if you're noticing that your profile may be editing too warm or too cool generally, but not by a lot, like not like huge swings. One of the things that I found personally is I actually edit my winter weddings cooler than I do my summer weddings. So I built 2 separate profiles instead, one for summer and one for winter, because in the winter I like that kind of cool, moody vibe, and it's always dark and different looking than when I'm in the summer and the fall. I want it to look warm and vibrant like those colors. So again, it's some of it's experimentation. Fortunately, you're able to build a couple different profiles, so you can absolutely take some different swings at it. I found that my best profile was not the one that I thought was going to be the best. I was just uploading it to test it out and, to actually test the profile building for a build. And I just uploaded a bunch of photos, like 13 different weddings. I didn't even put any thought into it. I just drag and dropped a bunch in, and I was like, let's just try this one. And it ended up being like an amazing profile that works better than anything ever. I don't touch any of the edits anymore. So again, diversity is really important. I'm going to put Esteban's comment again here, because I think Veronica should get a raise because she created that idea. I would love to. I would love to see. Oh, by the way, if you're at any of the conferences, we do have shoot bays. That's something new that we started this year to kind of show off some of our partners. Actually, this beautiful light is brought to you by one of our partners, Kikoto. So they've put this beautiful light on me, and we have other cool partners. Kevin said, I would love to see Aftershoot show the duplicates together in a stack like fashion, like Lightroom. Would be a nice visual to compare them in the main grid view.
I believe we have an option to review the duplicates in the grid view as well. So Kevin, if you if you are on the latest version of Aftershoot, and I feel we have this capabilities in the past few months now, so all the duplicates are visible and navigatable in the grid itself. So yeah,
Yes, you
can do
can
that.
period and comma in the grid view. And we do have some really awesome redesigns that I can't talk about and things coming up. So yeah, you will be happy soon. Would love to be able to start a column. Harshit, you take that one. Let me dig in.
Uh, Not right now. We don't have an option to do this right now. However, it's coming very soon. So for the time being, what you can do is once you have finished a cull on your desktop, you can just take those raw images and import them into your laptop. And Aftershoot should read the stars and colors added by Aftershoot on a desktop and show it to them on your laptop. So that's something that you can do at the moment. But we don't have a cloud sync option at the moment. It's something that we're working on.
Cool. All right. So we're at the end of this thing. I think we have to talk about all the cool stuff. We'll try and go through and answer any further questions as we see them in the chat, but we've got 6 minutes. So what do we want to talk about?
Let's talk about edits. Let's talk about edits. Let's tell people when they get edits, what edits is. I know a lot of people here know about edits already. So just why don't you just give us a quick refresher of what edits is, and I'll tell them when they get edits. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's do it. So as many of you know, we launched our edits to our alpha users. We've been working on it for a while. Oh, we didn't even tell them how we came up with the whole thing. What? That was a whole nother story, right? But so We've been working on edits for a while. We started
Let's
it.
give it a 30 second. Let's give a 30-second background on how we came up with edits and just explain what edits is.
Yeah, absolutely. So last year at WPPI, Harshit came in from India. It was our first like time actually hanging out together because COVID, we were locked apart in different countries. So he stayed with me for a couple months, and we at WPPI we were leaving the trade show floor, grabbing dinner, and we actually started going upstairs and working on edits because we knew it was something we wanted to do. We had to build the product in our vision, right? There wasn't anything on the market or anything that really fit what we felt that edits needed to be for a photographer. So AI editing needed to be something very particular, very, careful. It's one of the hardest problems to solve. As a photographer, you have so much time invested in it. And we wanted to make sure that we did it justice, that we gave the same care, the same unlimited editing, all of the things that we do that you couldn't find anywhere else. So we set out, started working on it at WPPI, late nights, and then just continued developing it for a while. I think it was finally in about May that we locked a team of developers in a room. We rented a hotel and said, work and just like polish this thing off. We were so close, but we needed that final piece to be confident that it would work across everybody's different styles. And so then they put it all together, and we've been hustling on it and working on it ever since. So first people started getting it in October, then some more in December. And here we are. So we're very excited to have edits. What it is it's AI editing. It learns from your past edits, right? So you're able to actually train it using past edits that you've made. And what it does is it adjusts everything individually per photo for a flat rate, right? So you can do as many photos as you would like, and you're able to actually edit those Lightroom catalogs. So when can people actually use edits?
So we have been running the alpha and the beta program for the past 3 months now. We actually also ran a founder sale, and we'll do a round two of that very soon. But people who are listening to this live and who are in our Facebook group can get access to edits today. So post this live, we will share a link to download edits and how to get started in our Facebook group. If you haven't joined it, be sure to join our Facebook community. You can search for the Aftershoot community. You'll find it. Join the group, and at the top of that group, there will be a pinned feature post talking about how to get access to edits, how to download it, and how to get started with creating your own AI profile. However, right, do note that it's going to be replacing your existing culling application. So the Edits app has yeah, sure. So Edits app has both editing and culling in one. So like you don't need to like go through multiple applications to get your stuff done. So yeah, that's something that that's a benefit with Aftershoot edits. We don't have any pre-made styles just yet, uh, but uh, we have something in works that should solve for that, and that'll be launched very 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 soon. So yeah, that's about edits. So it's launching today for all the people who have tuned into our live and who are in our Facebook community. And again, we have like some other friends who run their own like very successful communities. So Esteban, for example, if you are part of Steel and Flint, you'll have a link over there as well. So yeah, so consider this our unofficial public beta for edits.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's very cool. So Danielle wants to know, how long does it take to learn our editing style? So what happens is you're going to upload your past Lightroom catalogs, your past edits to our servers, and then it only takes a few hours depending on how many photos you have. Anywhere from 6 to say 18 hours, right? Depending on how many you actually have. What we recommend is starting with a minimum of 5,000 photos. You can start with 2,500, right? So you can start with less images. It just may not be quite as accurate. As I mentioned before, for me, what really clicked on the style was actually just like the images I input, right? So it actually matters less about how many images, but more about how the images are curated that you're training this profile on. So for me, my ideal profile, I've made a bunch. One was 20,000 images, one was 12,000, one was 8, one was 5. And so out of all of those, the 12,000 image was the best, right? 20,000 was okay. 9,000 was pretty good. 5,000 was okay, right? So, but it actually mattered more the data I actually gave to the AI to learn from. That had a bigger impact than actually the quantity of images. But yeah, just a couple hours, we build your own magical unicorn, ship it down to your computer. You don't need internet access after that, right? So you can run the edits anywhere you want. I was running it on the plane and all over the country lately. So the edits better than ourselves. I just want to share that because that's fun. Let's answer this one because this is very cool. Do you have a quick overview of how edits would compare to me using Capture One's auto adjustments on import? So one of the big things about AI editing, and so William also, we mentioned before, we're not quite there for Capture One yet, so tweet at him, let him know to accept us. But one of the big differences as to what we're doing with Aftershoot edits is that we're learning your specific style and how you're editing in those specific conditions. Whereas like a lot of the auto features available within existing softwares are really just looking to create a generalized thing. Whereas a generalized edit across all of your photos. Whereas something like us, we're actually looking at specific nuances in every single photo and adjusting all the sliders. So I know there was a really good example of somebody who, Mike Zawadski, one of our users, who literally came in and said, "This is incredible." It noticed the difference when I'm taking a close-up photo and I actually turn down the clarity slider a little bit so that they have like softer skin, as opposed to when I'm shooting a wider shot and I'm turning the texture up or turning the clarity up. So it starts picking up on these nuances and these small things that, you know, a generalized editing wouldn't do. But it also learns like, hey, you're editing warmer in these conditions and cooler in these conditions. When we have off-camera flash, you're like, one of the things that surprised me, honestly, was my shadow slider always is, that's my biggest editing tool, right? So exposure and shadows. And for me, when I use off-camera flash, I'm pulling the shadows way up. And when I'm using like natural light, it's kind of up. And when I'm doing, you know, a reception, it's all the way down, right? So it's really just, it learns all these different conditions and edits the way you would edit, and not so much just making them look as the same image would.
Just we have a few more questions. Yes.
Yeah, let's
Very
dive in.
important. Yeah, you need to submit Lightroom catalog that has the actual sliders edited. You cannot just like ingest already edited JPEGs and submit that, because we need to understand how was the image edited. We need to understand the whole history of the image. So the straight out of camera images versus the edited images, how did you change the sliders for us to learn? So yeah, that's something.
And Carrie wants to ask, is it best to use only images that have been adjusted? So this is actually one of the cool things. So when you're building your profile or when you're editing, you can actually tell it what you want it to look at. So to get started, you can actually drag and drop 15 different Lightroom catalogs. So up to 15 catalogs at a time in for training a profile. So you can just take everything you got. We need access to either the smart previews or the raws, right? So if you built smart previews, that's great. If you didn't, we need to make sure that your hard drive is plugged in and that the raw images are where Lightroom thinks they are. And then what happens is you're brought to a screen in which you can actually tell it what you want it to look at. So you can say, look at this folder, only the 5-star images, or look at, for instance, my collections. Let's say you do collections for your final edits. You can say, look at this collection, this collection, this collection, etc. So really you can fine tune it in. So you don't need to go in and get rid of unedited stuff, as long as you had a system, whether you were flagging, rating with stars or colors, something to denote that these are the edited photos that you need to look at.
Also, Justin, I believe during training a profile, we automatically exclude any unedited images. So if you have, so let's say if you're creating a color profile, we'll automatically exclude black and whites and all the unedited photos. So we also do that internally.
Yeah. So there is some filters on that, but if you
Yeah.
are applying a preset on import,
True. Yeah.
those could possibly be included in the training. So definitely, it's better to really fine tune it down so you don't have some mixed data. But yes, if there's no edits applied, we won't even look at those images. We're gonna just pop that one up real quick, and
Let's take one more question, Justin. I know there's like some. Okay, perfect.
here we go. Last question. Scott for the win. We have noticed difference when we have snow in the background. The AI seems to make things warmer, and if there's more snow in the shot, there are updates for the plan detecting bright backgrounds like snow. So with edits, we have a lot of updates coming. So there's a lot of really awesome things. That's a great question. That's not currently something that's been put on our radar. So we'd love to actually chat more and see, particularly snowy photographers, if you're seeing anything, maybe you can send us some images and saying, hey, they're just warmer. Like I mentioned, for me personally, it was actually because it was editing my winter weddings too warm for me, because I actually never gave it a bunch of snowy weddings, or a bunch of winter weddings. So it really didn't understand to edit cooler. So I actually built those two separate profiles, a winter one and a summer one. And then for me, I haven't experienced the snow issue. It's been editing all my snow sessions really great, because I gave it those parameters, right? Just the snow weddings. So it may be something that you want to try in the meantime, but yeah. And then actually we have to ask this question because we didn't fully address it. When can I get in on round 2? I'm super excited.
So if you use the app, if you're using the edits application, there's a like banner on the top that lets you enter into round 2 of founder pricing. And actually people who get their hands onto edits tonight will have an option to enter into round 2 of founder pricing. And yeah, just do that, and we'll email you as soon as that's available. But I think we're out of time. I just want to add a closing note to everyone. And thank you so much, Justin, for clearing that question around the founder pricing. One thing that we want to tell people who are like listening to us is that again, like, we're not in the business for making money, right? It's like obviously we want to make money, but the bigger reason is that we want to help everyone who's using our product. We want to help every single photographer be better at their craft and do things that they love the most. And that's one of the key reasons as to why, even though we could have done that, Aftershoot edits won't have a per image pricing. We won't do it. It's going to be a flat fee, a simple subscription, similar to how the culling product is. And yeah, you can just try any workflow that you want. We had people, and we have people, what they do is they edit everything and then cull after the editing is done, right? We actually had one of our users, Joss entry. So they edited 40,000 images from like 3 weddings. They just added those weddings into Lightroom, built smart previews, and edited 30 or 40,000 images. Took them like 2 hours for the app to edit all the images, and that's something that you would never do, right? So this opens up more avenues for you to be creative. Like there would be some images that you would have discarded because hey, they didn't look great straight out of camera, but now with edits, they give you a different perspective on how you look at those images, and then call them, and just like you'll see a difference with that. You'll see how simpler, how easier it is in terms of workflow. So again, we are here just to help you guys get better at your craft. And while you want to make money in the process, yes, we want to like just make sure that hey, like I mean, would you offer your photography for free? You won't do that, right? Because so we realize our value that hey, we are providing value. So we want to charge for that, but we don't want to nickel and dime you, right? Our whole thesis is that hey, we want to uh, make you more creative. We want to enable you to be more creative, and we don't want to penalize you for doing that, right? So we cannot say that hey, oh, we want to make you more creative, but oh, by the way, the more you shoot, the more you pay us. No, that doesn't work. It's not us letting you be creative, it's us making more money out of you. So we just want to reaffirm that and reinforce that hey, like why it is that what we do, why is it different than what others have done or what others might be doing already. So we are a fundamentally different company in that regards. We do care about people a lot, and we want to make sure that Aftershoot becomes a software that fundamentally changes the way photographers work, because there haven't been a lot of uh, workflow defining or workflow like enhancing products in this industry up until now. So we want to be that product. We want to be that product. And again, we are here. Anything that you want to see in the product, again, you have to say, you will have a say in the whole product building process, because this is a user first company. We don't say that for the sake of saying it. It is truly a user first company. If you like message us on intercom, you'll often find me there listening to your feedback and listening to ways in which we can improve. Me and Justin, we are there on Facebook group listening to everyone. We are here to just like listen to you and what we can like do to make your lives easier. So just want to like reinforce that thought that I had in my mind, just to everyone, because I don't come to these lives a lot because I mean, I don't think I'm as good as Justin when it comes to like
You
being
are
a content
amazing.
host.
Uh,
But
and
yeah,
and seriously, I think I can speak on behalf of every single Aftershoot user. Thank you for your devotion, your grind, your drive, your necessity to be the company that we need. So we all, as every photographer in this industry can attest, you are saving people time, energy, money, and we really do appreciate that you even had this shimmer of hope. So
for sure. And it's all everyone. It's like it'll be very selfish of me to just take the entire like
yeah,
uh,
no, there's an entire team.
yeah.
We will shout out the team. I mean, just absolutely, Aftershoot's not what we are because of Harshit and I. It is literally a team, an army of amazing human beings, that some of the best, smartest, brightest people in the world, putting all of their energies forth to create what we need, right? And
Yeah, me and Justin, we are just like jack of all trades. We have like true experts working behind the scenes, and we are just like taking credit for their work. To put it simply, that's what it is. So we are like we are like, I mean, again, like I'm not the best programmer on the team, not the best marketer, like not the best anything. And same with Justin. I mean, but we do have actual experts who are like working hard behind the scenes and churning stuff out for us to then like just do the easy stuff that, oh, it's here, by the way, oh, we did this. It's like, yeah, we have truly like amazing people who are like hard at work and making the magic. Like again, I mean, I don't know if that's the right word, but birthing the unicorns. I don't know if that's
yes, there's a unicorn factory. We're not birthing unicorns. There's a unicorn factory.
sure.
With the machine learning team. I mean, like I said, I could shout out everybody all day, but really, those guys are the ones that absolutely, edits would be nowhere without the amazing team that put it together. The fact that 1 year ago, you and I were just theorizing, and now we're here actually pushing it out. And the fact that 3 years ago, we had just pushed out something that was basically unusable to human beings for culling. And here we are doing so well. So seriously, Harshit, thank you for jumping on. We always love having you and hanging out with us. And thank you to all of our users. Like these past 3 years, it feels like a blur. But it's been absolutely amazing having all of you here with us, supporting us, helping us grow into the company that we are. And there are so many cool things coming in the pipeline. We didn't even tell you about half of them. So we're really excited for all the next things coming along. And then we have some cool announcements coming as well, that we'll talk about. But yeah, it shows you put people first. I wanted to say yes. We do, and some of the things that we're doing kind of behind the scenes that we're, Harshit's not going to come out and openly talk about, but there's some charity stuff happening and things going on. So, we're really big on supporting the photography community, our photographers. Every single one of you is like family to us, and our door is always open. So thank you all for joining, and we hope to see you guys all in the Facebook group soon.
Thank you so much, folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.